Hey everyone, it's Dabacab here, and today I want to try and address the question I get asked more than anything else on my channel, and that is, what is the secret to growing a YouTube channel? And before I answer that question, I sort of want to make a quick disclaimer and say that I don't have all the answers. The fact that that I achieved what I achieved, which is going from 0 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers in under a year, is a combination of luck, hard work, determination, luck again. And I don't have all the answers. I don't really know, like the things that worked for me might not necessarily work for you, but it is probably the case that a lot of my advice will be useful to you. If you're a small YouTuber trying to get bigger, if you're stuck at lower than 100 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers, then hopefully this advice will be useful to you, because looking back, I definitely feel like these are the things that helped me achieve this goal. Secondly, this video is going to cover large-scale advice. It's going to be general advice, things to do and things to not do. It's not going to be like, this is a good tag and this is a bad tag, because things like optimizing your channel, that changes over time. Like, YouTube is always changing its analytics, so I can't say do this, don't do this. Like this is a good title, this is a bad title, because that might not be the case in a year. So instead, I'm going to give you the information about how I discovered what is a good title. How I discovered what makes a good thumbnail, what makes a bad thumbnail, how I discovered what makes a good video. So, in my opinion, there are 4 critical things that you need to develop and improve and eventually master if you want to grow your YouTube channel and get bigger than 1,000 subscribers. And I'm going to go down the list in order, starting with the most important and ending with the least important. And the number one most important thing that you can do to grow your YouTube channel is work on yourself. This sounds like sort of sucky spiritual advice, but it's true. It's really true. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to make your YouTube channel grow is you. It's not going to be external factors. It's not going to be a sponsor. It's not going to be someone post your video. It's not going to be, analytics. It's going to be the work and determination you put into it. I mean, to grow my YouTube channel, I basically worked 2 jobs for 6 months, which means I didn't have time for games. I didn't have time to sleep. I skipped meals. I was really determined. I put in the hours. I worked on my YouTube channel at least 6 hours every day. And that's on top of my normal 9-to-5 job. And then I didn't have a weekend. I worked every single day, including weekends, for basically 6 months. And then on those weekends, I didn't work 6 hours like my normal weekdays. I worked, probably 10 or 11 hours, because I was trying to catch up on all the other stuff. So you just gotta put in the hours. You just do. It's work. I mean, there are some lucky YouTubers out there who can just fire up their recording software and play a game and get super popular and get millions of subscribers. But for, I think, probably the majority of YouTubers out there, it's work. It's hard work. And like, people ask me, what does it take to be a YouTuber? How do you become a good YouTuber? And I think the best way to look at that is to just replace the word YouTuber with any other profession. What does it take to become a good lawyer? What does it take to become a good coder? What does it take to become a good surgeon? I mean, let's take coding, for example. You can't just email your favorite YouTuber and say, hey, favorite YouTuber, what's the secret to becoming a favorite YouTuber? Because the answer is so complicated and so involved. Just like you can't email Steve Jobs and say, hey, Steve Jobs, what does it take to become a good coder? What does it take to build an OS? Because the answer is so involved, and you just have to roll up your sleeves and do it. The way you become a good coder is you read about coding. You learn how to code. You read websites. You watch videos. And then you take those skills and you code something. And then when it's buggy, you fix it. And it's basically the same thing with YouTube. I mean, there's no short answer. You go and you watch videos. You go and see what popular YouTube videos are. Then you go and you look up how to edit videos. Then you watch videos on how to edit videos. Then you make a video, and the first video you make is going to be terrible. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it 100 times. And eventually, by the 100th video, you might actually start being decent at it. I mean, if you look back at my early videos were terrible. They were hot garbage. My analytics were bad. My thumbnails were bad. My video editing was bad. My clip selection was bad. It's just my channel sucked. My channel sucked hard. And it took a lot of learning and improving to finally figure out what did work and what didn't work. And that's just experimentation, dedication, learning. You really got to be curious. You've got to be focused on it. I mean, look at it this way. Like, what does it take to become a professional at anything, right? For most people, it takes 4 years of college, maybe even years of grad school after that, or like, law school or med school. And unfortunately, there's not like, you can't take classes to be a YouTuber. That doesn't really exist. But imagine going to college to be a YouTuber. What classes would you take? You take video editing skills. You take search engine optimization. You take social media. You would watch other YouTubers. You would listen to what they have to say. And that's the same thing here. I mean, you're not going to have 4 years of just study YouTube. So you're just going to have to cram and just do your best and just be super determined and learn. You just have to learn. You have to learn every day. I'm still learning stuff. I learn stuff all the time. I learn stuff basically on a daily basis. And I'd say probably on top of that, the most important skill that you have to learn about being a YouTuber is to be humble and objective. Because sometimes you just have a sucky idea. You think it's going to be awesome. You put your idea together. You put it out there and it just flops. It just flops. And you might not know why, or you might be frustrated that it flops, and if it's not working, it's not working. And no matter how much you love it, you just have to understand that that's just not working for your channel anymore. I mean, the first couple videos that I did on my channel, like first 30 or 40 videos, were all hero highlights, which was I did montages focused on one specific hero. And then after a while, I sort of branched out and I did funny montages, and my funny montages were way more popular than my hero highlights. And it eventually got to the point where my hero highlights were getting in like 30K views, and my funny montages were getting like 200K views. So it just came to the point where it's like, it's really not worth my time to do the hero highlights. So even though I liked them, even though that was like the foundation of my channel, what I started with, I just realized that it was a waste of time. It just wasn't really being popular. It probably will never be popular no matter how much I worked on it. So I just had to let it go. And the fact that I was able to do that actually helped out my channel in the long run, in my opinion. So that's the first thing. You've got to work on yourself. You have to learn. You have to put in the hours. You have to practice. There's no simple way to do it. You just have to. I've worked on my YouTube channel for hundreds of hours, possibly even by now thousands. I don't know. A lot. And that's just what it takes to become good at YouTube. You just have to put in the hours. All right. So that was the first thing. Now let's go on to the second one. The second most important thing with building a successful YouTube channel is your channel itself. By that I mean your channel identity, your niche. What is your channel contributing to the internet? What is its identity? When people are bored and they open up the internet and they go to YouTube, what do they type in? Do they type in, things like funny dogs, funny cats? Like, those are really popular. There's a lot of demand for that. So you can have a channel about funny cats and dogs, and that will go someplace. Or like prank videos. Prank videos are really popular, so you can go somewhere with that. It's really important to understand what the market wants so you can respond to that with your channel. Your channel needs to do something. It needs to offer something to the internet. I actually think that the number one reason why my channel is successful is because I made my channel focus on Overwatch. I knew in my gut, I knew in my heart, the second I saw the very first Overwatch cinematic, this game was going to be big, and it's one of the biggest games in the world. And effectively, I think a lot of the reason why I'm so successful is that I bet on the right horse. There were a bunch of games coming out. I mean, you remember how hyped everyone was about No Man's Sky, and No Man's Sky was a giant flop. If I'd made my channel about No Man's Sky content, I probably wouldn't have more than 10K subscribers right now. But I bet on the right horse. I bet on Overwatch. I picked a game that is wildly popular, and there's now a huge demand for Overwatch content. And the same thing goes for your channel. You need to figure out what you're going to offer to the internet. Because if you're just doing sort of directionless Let's Plays videos, then you're probably not going to go anywhere. Just because the internet is flooded with directionless Let's Play videos. I mean, there are YouTubers like Jacksepticeye and PewDiePie and Markiplier who have really popular Let's Plays channels. And for some people, that works for them. You know, they do get lucky. They do sort of hit at the magic moment, and they do get really big. But that's not going to be the experience for most people. For most people, you're really just going to have to figure out a niche. Figure out what makes you unique. Are you funny and hilarious? Then in that case, you can be like Donkey, and you can have a super funny channel and grow that way. Are you like very logical, and do you like analyze stuff very well? Then in that case, you can have perhaps a more strategic channel that's focused on like tips and tricks and things like that. Are you artistic and really creative and good at editing? Then in that case, you can maybe do like a montage channel or have artistic videos or something. It's just, don't expect to just upload random YouTube videos and get super popular, because that doesn't happen for most people. For most people, you have to develop a niche. So that's probably the biggest advice about your channel. Figure out an identity, be consistent, offer people content that they can expect every single time, like Donkey. I love Donkey. When Donkey puts out a video, I know what to expect with a Donkey video. It's going to be goofy, silly. He's probably going to express a very strong opinion about something, and it's just going to be sort of crazy fun. And I know what's waiting for me when I click the video. And you need to do the same thing with your videos. You need to develop an identity, develop a niche. And with my videos, when someone clicks a video, they can expect, you know, a montage most of the time. And that's what I offer, so that's what I attract. And I think that's probably one of the most important things that YouTubers need to develop, is figure out your identity. Because if you're just guy who plays video games on the internet, then good luck. I mean, this sounds shitty, but good luck. I don't think you're going to succeed, because there are millions of people out there who are just guy who plays video games on the internet. And it works for some people. It does, but it's just, statistically, it's not going to work most of the time. I hate to say it, but it's true. So try and be more specialized, try and be more focused, try and just offer something that no one else offers. The third most important thing you need to learn in order to be a successful YouTuber is YouTube. YouTube is a very complicated, very dense platform that I'm still learning more about every day. And this is a skill that you really critically need to learn in order to grow as a YouTuber. And the tricky thing is that it's changing all the time. I mean, YouTube is constantly changing their analytics and how things work. So you just, like, no matter how much you learn, there's still something new to learn, because it's like hitting a moving target. So you need to learn about tags. You need to learn about titles. You need to learn about thumbnails. You need to learn about what metric. Like, here's a question. What's the most important metric on YouTube at the moment? Is it views? Is it watch time? Is it likes and dislikes? That's something you need to figure out. And I'm not going to tell you the answer, because, like I said, it changes all the time. So I'm not going to say the most important thing right now is X, because in 2 months that might not be the answer. So what you need to understand is you need to learn that you need to go and find this stuff out on your own, because that's what it's going to take to get up to date and to be relevant in the modern day. So to do a search, go to Google, say how to write good tags on YouTube. Don't look at anything that was written before this year. If the article is in 2015, ignore it. If it's in 2014, ignore it. Then look up articles on YouTube titles. Then look up articles on YouTube thumbnails. Then see if you can find online classes. Like I've got an app on my, I've got a plugin on my YouTube called TubeBuddy, which improves some random little features and just sort of makes my life a little bit easier as a YouTuber. But I saw a little while ago they had a notification, and I clicked the notification, and it was a guy who was giving a lecture on YouTube, and I watched it. I watched this 2-hour lecture about this guy giving advice about analytics, and I learned absolutely nothing. Unfortunately, it was sort of like a very beginner level class, and by then I was I knew a lot about YouTube. I was sort of beyond the beginner level, but that just sort of shows how desperate I am to constantly learn. I'm willing to sit through a 2-hour lecture that is below what I'm currently trying to learn about, just for the off chance that I'll learn something new. And I've probably sat through 20-30 hours of classes about YouTube, just because you've got to learn stuff in order to improve. And so, you know, I hate to say it, the answer to this is lots of hard work, but that's the truth. The answer is lots of hard work. You know, actually, just like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a network trying to contact me. They were trying to convince me to join their network. And they were saying like, oh, I noticed a couple of your things about your YouTube channel aren't optimized. For example, you don't have this and you should be doing this. And I didn't know that. As much as I'm constantly trying to learn about YouTube, I did not know that the thing that he said I should do was relevant. So I looked it up, and sure enough, he was right. I should have been doing that, so I implemented it. And that just goes to show you that even if you're constantly trying to learn and constantly trying to improve, there's still just so much you don't know. So you just got to have that like curiosity. You've got to have that dedication, because that's the only way you're ever going to figure out what does work and what doesn't work. On that note, if you're getting approached by networks, in my opinion, networks really aren't worth your time unless you have at least 25K subs, probably even more than that. Before that, they're just not worth the trouble, in my opinion. Once you get bigger, they're definitely worthwhile. Like 50K plus subs, they're definitely worthwhile. But before that, I wouldn't bother with them. Not worth your time. They'll say that they'll improve and like help you out and give you a lot of useful tools. But unless you're relatively big, unless you're at 50K subs, I don't think those tools are really going to be useful to you at all, to be honest. That's just my opinion. Maybe other people out there will disagree, but that's my thoughts. Okay, so that's number 3, YouTube. Number 4, the fourth most important thing to growing your YouTube channel is your fan base. And this is sort of tricky because realistically, fans are the number 1 most important thing. Because if you have fans, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could have the shittiest YouTube channel on planet Earth, but if you have 5 million subscribers and you get 5 million views per video, then you're really successful. I mean, you could have shitty analytics. You could not be curious or motivated. Your videos could be utter garbage, but if you have the views, if you have the fans, then you're successful. Congratulations, you just are. So fans are the most important thing. However, I'm putting them as number 4 at the bottom of the list because they are the one thing that you have the least control over. You can't really control what your fans do and don't do, but it is important to understand your fans. So I'm putting them at number 4 because you can sort of do your best to influence your fans to come and stay to your channel, but ultimately it's out of your control. So it's sort of a tricky thing to master. So with fans, that's about building a community. You have to engage with them. I think one of the biggest things I get asked from small YouTubers is, how do I get subs? How do I get subs? I can't get subscribers. And that's sort of the reverse of what you should be asking. People seem to think that if you can just get subscribers, then it'll all work out, and that's wrong. What you need to do is it's like Field of Dreams. You know, if you build it, they will come. If you entertain them, they will come. So your priority shouldn't be getting subscribers. Your priority should be putting out good, high quality content, improving your channel, improving your analytics, being more consistent, improving your social media footprint. Because if you do those things, then you will get subscribers, right? So don't think, oh, if I could just get 5,000 subscribers, then I would suddenly hit a breakthrough and things would work out for me. Oh, if only I had 50K subscribers. No, man, if you have 50K subscribers and your content sucks, then tomorrow you're going to have 45K subscribers. And then the day after that, you're going to have 40K subscribers because people are going to abandon ship, because what's the point in sticking around? So just do your best to grow your channel. Do your best to improve, put out entertaining videos. And then once you start getting people, once you start getting fans, then you need to figure out how you're going to engage with people. Create a Discord channel, be active on Twitter, create social media accounts, do giveaways. You do those things with a community that you have created. You don't do those things to get a community, because that's not going to work. Once you have a community, that's when you need to start working on developing, some sort of rapport with them, communicating with them, being visible and vocal. So just try not to put the cart before the horse on that one, so to speak. So to recap, the 4 things that I think are the most important thing on YouTube is, number 1, work on yourself. Be determined, be curious, put in the hours, put in the practice. You can't be a professional baseball player overnight. You have to exercise. You have to learn how to throw. You have to learn how to hit. You have to learn the rules of the game. That's just how it works. Number 2 is your channel. figure out what you're offering. Don't just be dude with YouTube channel. Don't just be dude who makes gaming videos. It has to be something more unique than that, unless you get lucky, unless you're that 1 in a million YouTuber who gets super lucky, because that does happen sometimes, but realistically it's probably not going to happen with you. It certainly didn't happen with me. I had to develop a niche, and I have developed a niche, and that niche has helped me get big. Number 3, you've got to learn YouTube. I can't tell you the secrets to YouTube because by the time you watch this video, they might not even be applicable. Go watch videos, go to online classes, read articles, just absorb all the information you can get your hands on about YouTube. Number 4, you've got to build out your fan base and build a community. Do those first 3 things that I mentioned, work on yourself, work on your channel, and work on YouTube analytics, and then you will get a community. Once you have a community, you have to start building a community with streaming and Twitter and giveaways and things like that. So hopefully this advice will be useful. I realize it's all very vague and abstract, but honestly, that's what I believe. This is what I think it takes to be a successful YouTuber. I honestly believe this is good advice. I don't know if it'll work for you, but hopefully it'll help some of you out there, hit that next milestone and go from 1,000 subscribers to 10,000, and then hopefully join me up at 100K and get your own silver play button. So also, I'm always trying to learn. If anyone out there has any advice for me about how to improve my channel, I'm always looking for ways to improve. So anyways, good luck out there. Thanks for watching. Dabacab out.